a historic ground home to a former Premier League club. Welcome back to the Groundhoppers podcast, and welcome back to Stadiums Ranked. I say welcome back. If you're watching on YouTube, it's the first one. Woohoo! Go on Spotify and listen to the
others. Yeah, you should listen to the others because now we don't have any video for them, and this is the first one. Yeah. I'm wearing the best kit in English football.
I'm wearing the best English kit in English. Yeah.
The worst English kit in English football is that because that's not English football, that's international football.
Best England kit of all time. Original, by the way. No knockoff second hands.
Yeah, that is knockoff second hand. That is knockoff.
It really isn't.
Second hand. What's wrong with my finger now?
Or at the time. Not actually my... What? Anyway, Stadiums Ranked. If you haven't watched before, if you haven't watched, you can't have watched before. If you haven't listened to it before, we rank it on we rank a stadium on 4 categories. Looks, how it looks. I don't know how to describe that one. Accessibility.
You don't need to describe any of it.
Food, the best, most important one, I'd argue. And atmosphere.
Oh, you need food to survive.
I've got written in my notes, introduce Dylan and ask him how his day was, but we've already done that. How was your day, Dylan?
My day was very, I'm on my phone. My day was very football-y and very winning.
Oh, sorry, I think I've got to take a phone call. Oh, look at that case. Oh, I'll get that case showed on the camera.
That is not on sale. There's no point in watching. That might be on sale. might be on sale soon, but I might make a better version than that.
That's not difficult. I spent 10 quid on that. Anyway, so
10 quid.
Loftus Road. Yeah, bargain.
My teeth looking
plus £5. Plus £5. Anyway, so Loftus Road. We both went to Loftus Road.
Well, obviously, that's why we're doing Tuesday. It. That's why we're doing it. I have very heartfelt notes on my other monitor, by the way, and they include lots of capitals and lots of swear words. And I think you know where the capitals and swear words are.
Dale, this is going out on YouTube. Less swearing, please.
I'm not going to swear. Actually, technically, you're allowed to swear after 3 minutes.
2 minutes and 27 seconds. I'll start. Stadium looks. I'll go first. So, we'll leave the ratings to the end of the section. So, I've put on my notes: old-fashioned stadium, compact, atmosphere would stay in, but the negatives to it are restricted views at Common, but that's not really a negative, as my favourite stadium of all time has a lot of restricted views.
That depends on where you sit. That depends on where you sit. If you're in the middle behind one of the goals, you've got a good view.
Yeah, and one that is annoying is that the legroom is dreadful.
I know, it's terrible.
But talking about Loftus Road and more in general, the stadium it's not a big stadium. I wouldn't be surprised if QPR moved out in a few years' time.
Oh no, I definitely want them to move out. I definitely want them to move out after my experience.
It means that I no longer have a ground tick on the 92. Anyway,
I mean, until they move, you have a ground tick.
Yeah, true. So old-fashioned. It's a nice stadium. There's nothing wrong with the stadium. It's weird to think that they play Premier League football there, but they play Premier League football at some weirder grounds. Swindon Town, I'm looking at you. But yeah.
I mean, you're looking out your window. So I've got, in my notes, I've put that the stadium has character. It's a nice old stadium. I love old stadiums. The ones that aren't the stupid bowl stadiums, which most teams seem to be liking right now. However, there was a pole in my way that impacted my view of the pitch massively, as I could not see one of the goals, and I had a massive rant about it during the game. Actually, no, I had a massive rant about it before the game and until about 20 minutes in when we actually decided to move.
No, you stopped ranting. When the game kicked off, you stopped caring about the pole.
Because half of the shots were on the other end of the pitch, because Hull City had the ball.
Nope, because QPR had the ball. Ever since you
Hull City were the ones shooting towards Hull City in the first half.
No, that was the second half, mate.
That was the first half because the second half Hull was shooting towards where my blocked view was.
No, they weren't. I can tell you they weren't. I can look it up.
Yes, they were. Watch, I'll show you. They were
You
literally
can try and show me.
either way.
Everyone watching knows that. You know?
Well, I think either way, my view was utterly disgraceful. That's just what I've got to say.
I mean, you
It
did
was
move
terrible.
after about 25 minutes.
If
So.
I have a picture of my view, it will be on the YouTube video. Actually, I'll show you. I've got it on my phone somewhere.
Just put it on the YouTube video because otherwise, no, put it on YouTube.
I'll
video.
also show you. Then I'll put it on the YouTube video if it flips, which it will flip.
This is not very helpful for people who still listen to this on audio medium. That is a terrible.
Yeah,
that.
Wait, let me turn this off.
Basically, it's a football ground with
yeah,
a pole.
it's
in the middle
basically
of
a massive pole. I mean, it's quite good that it doesn't work because there's a swear word in it that I might want to remove before I put it. Anyway, your rating first, please, Daniel.
A rating? I don't know how to put anything. I also said it was better than average, so I've gone quite high because I do like old-fashioned grounds more than new, boring grounds.
That's what I just said.
Chesterfield's new ground. Don't go into it, Daniel.
It's not even a new ground.
It's 2009. That's very
old.
new, mate. 15.
That's not new.
That's new. That's new. It's the new style of grounds.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I've gone with probably higher than what you've put. I've gone with a 7.6.
Oh, that makes mine look very harsh.
I've opinion.
Put 4. 4.
Excuse me.
You weren't the one with a massively impacted view of the goal and not being able to see it.
You weren't after 25 minutes. After 25 minutes, you weren't.
Well, that's because I moved.
Which is what you're doing.
You
can just now.
I still
Dylan, you could go to any football.
I still had to move back and forth
and sit
to
behind
go
the
around
pole.
Well, I don't want to sit behind a pole. I want to sit where I can see the pitch.
This is my point. It's because of the seat you got, not because of the stadium.
That's because what you bought. You bought the seat, not me.
Dylan, you're not ranking your view of the pitch. You're ranking the looks of the stadium.
But that says either way. I'll put it at 4. I'm not changing it. I'm being harsh this episode.
Very, very harsh.
I've told you I'm being harsh this episode before we started recording. Callum, I'm sorry, but I don't give a shit, mate. You've also got an impacted view, Callum, so don't even bother chatting to me.
Accessibility, you go first.
But for context, if you didn't know, Callum's a QPR fan. If he's listening to this, he will rage at me. Anyway, so I've put that the ground is accessible by tube. But we were idiots and decided to walk for 30 minutes to get to the ground.
Dylan, you know you're not judging this from
it says I am.
You're judging it
I'm saying it's accessible by tube because it is. It's the circle line. It's on the circle line, which is a shit line in my opinion.
Do you want me to say what I put, or should we just move on?
No, let's move on.
Okay. Anyway, so
actually, for me to get there, I had to have a night. Well, a night in London, and I also had to stay the night after. That is in my accessibility, you muppet. That's what I'm talking about.
No.
I had to have a night in London, and I had to have a night. Well, I didn't have to have a night after. I could have just gone straight to St Pancras and gone home, but I chose to have a night after. So that is negatively impacting the stadium accessibility.
Okay, so for me, I mean, I live in London. If you didn't know, I know very well. I put not the easiest London stadium to get to, because there are. Dylan, let me finish. Because from the central train stations, there are easy ones to get to. Because you do have to make a change, but the lines. It's like a 20-minute walk away from the closest tube. 10, 20 minutes anyway. And the lines, they're ones that take you onto main lines, so that's helpful. But other than that, it is better than average accessibility. It's not like a bit like Stadium looks. It's much better. It's better than average, but it's not great.
Okay, so literally it's one line to get from Paddington.
Yeah,
wait, that's the wrong station.
Used tree.
That's the wrong.
Let me have a look. Carry on talking.
Woodland is nowhere near QPR. It's 11-minute walk away. That's nowhere near QPR. Either way, it's about one train, 2 trains from the centre of London, so it's accessible. But I've rated it a 7 out of 10.
Yeah, you need
Yes,
to make a
I
change.
believe. What do you mean?
You need to make a change to get to the central stations. By the way, the
Pardon?
central stations, just so everyone knows, I'm including is Euston, King's Cross, and St Pancras. They're the central
That's not the
stations.
centre of London, though.
They are the central stations, Dylan. By the
Sure.
central stations, I mean the most used stations.
Also, I'd
Those three are the
argue
most
Shepherd's Bush station is quite confusing. Well, it's not, but it
yes.
is.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
we went to the Jubilee line one. Well, no, we wanted to go to the Jubilee line one. Did we go City line? Was it the City line one that we went to?
Hammersmith and City. Yeah.
Hammersmith and City. We should have gone across the road where the Jubilee line was.
It wasn't
There's
it's not the
two
easiest tube
Shepherd's Bush
station to navigate.
Stadium. There's 2 Shepherd's Bush stations. So
Yes.
I've given accessibility a good 7 out of 10. Because
Okay, so just you did a straight 7. By the way, we are allowed one
straight
decimal
7,
point.
the same as
No more decimal
Matlock
point,
Town.
1.
I
Okay,
put it the same
right.
as Matlock Town.
Not that anyone know that, but anyway, I've given accessibility a rating of 6.9 because I pretty much agreeing with you. Pretty much, it's above average. It's not terrible.
It is accessible. You can get there.
It's not as accessible as like what's an example? Bramall Lane, which is like it's quite Bramall Lane's very.
You
accessible.
always say Bramall Lane.
That's because it's the most accessible stadium I've been to. If we were doing crew accessibility, that'd be getting a 1. But we don't need to talk about that and move on to food.
We're not on crew yet.
I get to start with food. That's nice. So we both had a chicken and balti pie.
Yes.
Because there were other options, but none of them were. There was also
they
options.
weren't standing out.
I will put the out there that you could have had a burger, cheeseburger. There was this special burger, and I think you could have chips and cheese as well. So there were a decent amount of options, but we had already eaten. So I went with the chicken balti pie as well as Dylan, who's on his phone, very professional. What can I say about the pie? It's not a bad pie. The pie was all right. You're still on your phone.
No,
the pie was all right.
There's no proof I'm on my phone.
Yeah, the chicken balti pie was all right. It could have been worse, but it is definitely nothing memorable. It's not like in my top 5 pies or anything, but nothing wrong with it. We also had a cup of tea before the game, which helped a lot of the time because I did need a cup of tea at the time. It was a bit rainy, a bit cold because it's October, so September.
Actually, I'd argue
September, early October, so it was required, and it was all right. It was good tea. Not the best tea I've had though either.
I'd argue you only got a tea. You only got a tea because I stormed off and got a tea.
No, I would have got a tea anyway.
Yeah, but not well. Anyway, so I would
have got it with me
pie.
Food.
I had a chicken balti pie. It was also a very nice pie. It was served in a plastic bag, but that meant nothing because the pie was nice. I don't like the pies that are served in a plastic bag. Because if pies are served in a plastic, that's more plastic in the world. Just buy pies and
also,
shove them in.
Side note, if you, it's also it looks like you put less effort in. Like like some stadiums, Chef Wednesday, you get it in like a dog bowl, and it feels like there's more effort put into that.
Well, it's more of a big cardboard bowl, but it's not really a dog. Well, it is sort of a dog bowl. It just makes it so much easier to eat the pie.
The plastic ones just
you
look.
could either.
Yeah,
I don't like the plastic ones. You had. I think we had. Was it? We had. Rotherham does plastic ones. No.
Yeah, Rotherham does it. More stadiums do it than like Leeds does it. I know that one.
I hate the stadiums that do. I hate the stadiums that do plastic because
you just make a mess everywhere because you've got nothing to catch your pie in.
Yeah, and you are also harming the environment. What are these turtles going to
It's better than napkins. Much better than napkins, though. Much better than napkins. Yeah, napkins are just annoying.
Yeah, but what are these turtles going to think? Us putting pies in a plastic bag when the world is supposed to be reducing their plastic. Okay, Daniel, your score.
Oh, we're going flying through this. I've gone.
We probably should go a bit slower.
No, it's fine. My score.
Don't want a 15-minute long podcast.
My scores, including the fact that there are other food options that if I hadn't just eaten a Wetherspoons beforehand, I could have gone with. So I think I've gone higher than if I would have gone like I think I would have gone 6. Or maybe just a bit lower 6 if I didn't have the other food. But I've given them an extra rating, gone 6.5.
Speaking of which, all I'm going to say, if you're going to that Weatherspoons, if you're with O2, your service will most likely not work like mine didn't. So if you're wanting to order on the app, that is a bit stupid. And they tried to bring out the wrong meal to our table, which is
Oh yeah,
known for Weatherspoons. They basically tried to bring me out a fish and chips when I ordered a bonus basket.
that's the same thing, isn't it? What's the difference?
No, well, there's fish and chicken, you muppet. Fish can be eaten
Ah, they're
by a
both meat.
vegetarian. A chicken cannot.
Nope. Fish can only be eaten by pescatarians.
Vegetarian is
Vegetarians.
meat, and fish is fish, not
No,
meat.
no, no, right, no. I'm gonna have to pull this up because otherwise you'll get a million people moaning at you. Well, probably not me. Anyway, so
They will be
pescatarian
moaning at me
is
anyway.
where the only meat you're allowed to eat is fish. Vegetarian means you're not allowed to eat anything. What is that?
Fish isn't meat.
Yes, it is.
A fish is fish. Can
Anyway.
vegetarians eat meat? Fish. Oh, it says no. Oh, it says no.
You have to kill an animal. What do you expect?
Yeah, but it's fish. It's not meat.
Anyway, back to the thing. What score have you got with Dylan?
You didn't say your score.
I did 6.5.
Oh, mine was a 7.9 because I really enjoyed my pie.
7. All right. Well, how was you? Like, I thought you were like.
It was a bit
questionable.
spicy, but who cares? It was a nice pie. Don't give a shit.
Right.
Also, if you're wondering
Atmosphere,
what this is, these are the sauces they offer at Weatherspoons on a receipt piece of paper.
Blue
Because
cheese sauce. Who gets
someone
blue
in
cheese?
my pub ordered something with a sauce we didn't have, so I had to write all the sauces down in order to tell them what they were. Anyway, atmosphere. So before Hull City scored, QPR atmosphere was good. Wasn't constant, but it was good. But they were, for the most part, until they equalised to make it 1-1, it was a bit quiet, and then second and third goal for Hull basically heard nothing. But that's kind of that's always gonna. They did get annoyed
That's
about
not the
something.
fans' fault.
No, it's their team's fault for going 3-1 down to Hull City, mauled by the Tigers. Anyway, so anyway, so they were annoyed about something. I think there was a penalty shout that they a free kick or penalty shout that they didn't get, or something stupid like that, or a free kick or a penalty that Hull City got that they got annoyed about, and for some reason they got annoyed about it. You were saying why they're booing. But you don't know.
Yeah.
You don't know who they were.
Oh
booing
no,
for.
I do remember. Basically, what happened was a QPR player smacked a ball
the faking.
in a Hull City's player's
The
face.
injury.
He went down, and the referee had to stop play, even though it was a QPR attack because of concussion rules. So basically, I don't understand why they're booing. I just assume none of them know the rules of the actual game they're watching.
That seems, that was what they were getting annoyed about. They were getting annoyed about the referee stopping the game while they were on an attack, and they also, I think they were chanting, "You don't know what you're doing," or something like that.
Yes, they were. Yeah,
which is extremely stupid. They literally have to stop the game for a head injury. He was on the floor holding his head, and they need a concussion test.
Yep.
Anyway, your go.
So, okay. What was I going to? I do.
You've got notes.
Slightly. I do, but I've got a disagreement with you. You said it wasn't constant after Hull scored the first, but if I remember,
I said before Hull scored the first, it wasn't constant.
No, before no. What? Right, no. Sorry, I missed.
Because it wasn't like chanting every minute.
You said it went a bit quiet after Hull's first.
It went a minor bit. It went quieter
for
than
the first 5-10 minutes after Hull scored. The atmosphere was still there, but the atmosphere started to die down because, well,
Hull
the team just
control.
Like QPR just kind of fell apart, and it does have to count against the atmosphere, but I mean, because obviously we didn't hear what it could. If QPR had gone to win that game, then obviously the atmosphere would be different, but they didn't. So yeah, we've got to rate it as we saw it. Though that being said, QPR, there were 13,000 people in the stadium that day. which I mean it can fit 18,000, but so it's not terrible. But 13,000 people, while the stadium is designed will keep atmosphere in, the 13,000 people you don't expect to be like a raucous atmosphere like you'd see. It's also a Tuesday night game, so that's going to reduce the atmosphere. Hull
Yeah,
only brought a few hundred, so that's also going to reduce it. So taking that into account, the atmosphere wasn't terrible, but it's definitely not the best atmosphere I've ever been.
yeah, but saying they hold 18,000 people, the stand to our right was full. The
Mm-hmm.
stand straight ahead of us, the top section looked a bit empty. And
Yeah.
we don't know about our stand, but it felt quite full.
Yeah, it did.
So primarily it was either the away fans and the stand right in front of us, which were the stands that were the empty ones. Because there was about,
The
you could see about a couple thousand seats or a couple hundred, like
Yeah.
hundreds and hundreds of seats in the stand in front, just not filled. There were sections
Yeah,
with
I thought
a group of fans. There were sections completely empty, basically. I mean, I'd say
the
this goes into
attendance
stadium looks, but
was. I don't know. It's difficult. The attendance was. It's not showing on the website. I think it's 13,250, but you could check that. Hey, here we go. 13,407 was the attendance for the game.
bloody hell, they are
Also,
not on.
Hull
They are
takes
not
the 2
good
0
run of
lead.
form, by the way.
No, they're not. They're dreadful.
13,407.
Yeah.
13,407. Yeah, it's on FOTMob.
Yeah.
They've literally are not on a good run of form. Their last win was Luton on
Mm-hmm.
the 30th. They
And
drew to
Luton are
us
bloody
on the
the
14th.
don't talk about
Lost 2-1 to Palace. Drew 1-1 to Millwall. Lost 2-0 to Blackburn. Lost 3-1 to Hull and lost 2-0 to Derby. If you can't tell, I'm trying to
Yeah.
extend the time of
Don't bother.
podcasts.
That Derby game though. That did you see that? You won't have seen it. Have you seen Derby's that one of the? I think it was the first goal. That header. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. It's a great header.
Oh, I might watch it now and then
Also,
react to it.
watch away end limbs for Chef Wednesday's second goal
I've
yesterday. That was
watched the
pretty good.
entire thing. I've watched the
Did you
entire
enjoy
thing.
those limbs? Oh wait, you weren't there. Ha ha ha.
Ha ha! West Ham have beat Ipswich 4-1 yesterday, but still, sucks to be sucks to be Ipswich.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to extend
We are going to do.
the
By the way, for those watching on YouTube, we are planning on doing some vlogs of games.
match
Not
day
many, not
vlogs.
all the games, not loads of
Well,
games,
that's
but a
because
few
all
games.
the games we aren't both
Spicy.
at, because you live in London and I live in
Do I? How can you say that?
around Sheffield. So if I go to Sheffield
Dylan, you've
Wednesday
said
match that you
Chesterfield
aren't,
multiple times.
I know. But if I go to Sheffield Wednesday match that you aren't at, there's no real point me recording it, is there?
Anyway, back from sidetracking. What rating have you given Atmosphere?
I've given it a 5.9. I think that's a bit fair.
I think that's harsh. I think that's a bit
I'd
harsh.
say it's fair.
I know. I was not surprised. You gave the rating. I've gone a lot higher actually. I've gone. Give a second. I've gone with a 7.1, which may seem high, but it was very. It was. I was thoroughly impressed with the atmosphere, and I'm not. I'd like Hull. By the way, I've got to put this out, and I'm not Chef Wednesday biased over here, which Hull fans would claim, even though I don't care about Hull. Their
Well,
atmosphere was
yeah.
terrible.
They got absolutely mauled by us at home, so I don't really care.
Also, can they shut up singing "More by the Tigers"? Because stop acting like 3-year-olds. I've got I've got a
It was very
3-year-old.
funny.
I've got a
It was very
6-year-old cousin.
funny. It was so
I've
funny
got a
when we were
5-year-old
singing it
cousin.
against them. When we were 1-0 up, singing "More by the Wednesday," and then on Twitter they were like, "Why are you singing More by the Wednesday when you're 1-0 up? You do the exact same thing at your home games or
No,
your
right,
away
no,
games.
no.
You 1-0 up and you sing it. Shut up."
I've got to get into it. Right, I've got
At
a
least it's not
5-year-old
Millwall with
cousin
the one
who I'd be
chance.
slightly embarrassed if they started singing "More by the Tigers," mainly because that mean they're Hull fan. They'd be really embarrassing. There's like 30, 40. There's just I saw an 80, like a 70-year-old man singing "More by the Tigers." Like, what are you doing with your life if you're doing that?
Were you just not being
Yes.
mauled by anyone? I'm not being mauled by
But
anyone.
basically,
QPR are.
but the reason, probably the main reason I've given
Oh no.
the atmosphere a 7.1 is because they didn't really have any away fans to bounce. That like all were quiet, so the away fans they didn't really be able to bounce off each other. Like
They
you
they
get
had
like good
about
atmosphere. So it was basically just keep you off and
a couple
atmosphere.
hundred at the top trying to make an atmosphere,
Yeah,
but it just didn't work.
failing miserably. Anyway, so have you worked out your overall
49.
rating, Don?
I have, and it is quite
Okay.
low.
Would you like to reveal your overall rating? We're not telling anyone any of the other ratings because they've got to go back and watch them.
Well,
So
listen
go back
to
and watch.
them. They've got to go back and listen to them
Oh yeah,
on
yeah.
YouTube.
Well, you can watch the logo. So,
No.
what is your rating, Mr.
Drum roll,
Frost?
please.
Go ahead.
24.8.
Ooh.
Told
Right,
you.
drum roll, please, Don. Have a drum roll. My rating is rise the drum roll stop. Get the drum roll back. Go.
Because you was.
That is terrible. Get back on the table.
Is it working?
No, I'm not. No.
Can you hear it?
Yes, but it's not good. So my rating is a 28.1. You can stop banging the table.
Oh. So your rating is higher than my rating for Rotherham United.
Yes. So, and on to the final category of the podcast, where Dylan gets off his phone.
Fantasy
I'm not
EFL,
stopping.
thank you. I'm swapping some people.
Yeah, and you did terrible. Can you do this after the podcast?
I called. My dad's calling me. Go away.
Who cares?
I'm busy.
Hang him up. So,
I've just hung him up.
the score predictions. The last game we predicted was Newcastle, which
He's
anyway,
calling
the
me again.
podcast name came out. We don't talk about that. I don't care. So the Newcastle game, we both predicted Newcastle to win. You said 5-0 or something. I said 4-1 or something. And we both got Newcastle winning, but nowhere near close as it finished 1-0. The game we are going to be predicting this week, thought about it. I've come prepared and picked one. It is the worst thing ever invented in humanity, the international break this weekend. So we're going to predict an international game. And it's the one that everyone cares about. It's England versus Greece. You look so happy.
My score prediction for that game, which will be utterly amazing. I'm going to go 3-1 England.
Ooh, first goal scorer.
I'm going to go.
You have to look up England players. I'm going to be.
No, I'm not. I'm looking at what my dad sent me as a text. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go Kobe Maino.
Interesting.
He's probably not going to start, but I'm going Kobe Maino.
Right, I am going to go
if he starts.
with my score prediction for England versus Greece, which is happening at mere 100 meters away from me, and the tickets are 130 quid, so way overpriced for a game no one cares about. I am going to go with England 2, Greece 0. First goal scorer, Cole Palmer.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think it's going to be a penalty? Because Cole Palmer's a penalty merchant. Sorry, Chelsea fans.
Cole Palmer's a penalty.
No, I'm joking. I know he scores open play goals. I've watched
banging points in my FPL team.
Oh, I don't do FPL anymore, so cry about it.
I'm not. I'm happy, mate.
Why? You've got no one to compete with. What's that on
I've got many people to compete with. This is such a random. Do you want to do anything else entertaining?
Something's on my pillow, and I don't know what it is. 1 minute, I was going to go and have a look. You know what? Let's cover it with my chair. Oh.
No, go and have a look. Go and have a look.
My jumper is there. If you cover that with my microphone. And my hairline is terrible.
Have you not noticed where I've been sat this entire time?
My hairline is terrible, so cover it with a towel.
Have you not noticed where I've been sat covered up all the rubbish behind me? Yeah.
Exactly. That's why I said your room's an absolute tip. I'm going to finish the
you can't tell from it. Okay, right. Talking about finishing the podcast, you want to do it now?
You blamed me for your room being messy when your room's always messy. I did not
Can
do
we get back to
any
you
fruit
finishing the podcast,
pastel
please?
packets. I did not
Oh
do
wait,
any
actually,
fruit pastel packets.
before you finish the podcast, we've got
I'm not. Am I anywhere?
we've got a we should be. We got a Twitter. Follow us, even though Twitter's gone down the bin. We've got an Instagram. Follow us. Instagram's not yet down the bin, but it's getting close. YouTube channel. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe for pretty obvious reasons. Follow us on Spotify. Give us a rating, review if you can do. Whatever you watch us on, follow us. Listen to every podcast. Woohoo! Dylan, can you end this podcast, please?
Okay. I'm gonna go very slowly and end it. Thank you for listening and watching. If you're on YouTube, I need to get used to that. Thank you for seeing my beautiful face and that ugly mug over there. If
Why, mate?
you can't tell, this is a podcast. Thank you. Thank you for listening. And
by the way, one more thing.
I'm gonna walk away looking like Mary
One more
Poppins
thing.
now.
You need to end the podcast. If you have any ideas for what we could do to the podcast, give hosts we could replace.
Excuse me.
Leave it down in the comments. We'll read all the comments.
Or send us an email.
Share with any other QPR fans.
Or send us an email if you have any suggestions at the Groundhoppers podcast at gmail.com.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.